we're going to be back in this book, and we're going to be operating pages 10 and 11. So turn to there. And on pages 10 and 11, what's kind of one of the first things that your eyes go to? Okay. The pictures really stand out, right? Probably one of the first things you're going to see as you kind of look through all the pictures is this really big one over here. But you might see this big animal over here. And notice that the author, instead of putting a whole caption, the author just put a label of that animal. I think that we can probably assume that they're going to talk about a badger somewhere on that page, right? What's the title of these pages? Animals in the soil, right? What I want you to do first is read this big paragraph right here. Read that to yourself. Now I've got some. So this page says, soil is not only a home for plants, animals also make their home in soil. These animals can be as large as a badger. They can also be so small that you cannot even see them. Soil provides these animals with food, warmth, and protection. Some animals, such as wombats, moles, and rabbits, dig under the soil to make their homes or burrows. This picture down here is showing, right? Smaller animals, such as worms and insects, live in the soil too. Okay, what I want you to do on the post-it note, at the top of your post-it note, try to think of a main idea sentence. Think of what all that is mostly saying. Let's start it with the words some animals. S-O-M-E, some animals. And write a sentence telling me what that page is mostly saying. So all of you have something like either some animals live in the soil, or here we have some animals live in the dirt, or here he's saying some animals make their homes in the soil, live in the soil, and live in the soil. Right? That's basically what that's about. Good. Okay, now read the next page. That part right there, not the sidebar. That was smart to put it right there.
Okay. They're trying to like this part. It's the orange one.
Dwellers. It's a weird word, isn't it?
Shades of Grey. Yeah. The shadows of trees, the clouds, and the sky.
Okay, so that page is 2 paragraphs. They also basically have the same main idea. And this time, there is actually a sentence on the page that tells you the main idea of both of those paragraphs. That happens sometimes, right? Sometimes a writer basically writes a main idea in there. So I want you to look back through and see if you can find one sentence that basically tells you what both of those paragraphs are saying. And when you have found it, write it on your post-it note.
Shades of Grey? No. Okay. The shadows of the trees, clouds in the sky. Because you practice it a lot. The shadows of trees.
But that's talking about how to keep myself only down here. There's another sentence that talks about both.
Okay, I'm going to try to do these. Shadows of trees. Oh,
That says the main idea of both of those pages.
Okay, the shadows of trees, clouds in the sky.
That has the main idea of the whole page and copy down that main idea.
Shadows of trees, clouds in the sky.
Lots of times, if there's a main idea sentence on the page, it's either going to be at the beginning or at the end, right? And so it's either going to be the very beginning of both of those paragraphs or it's going to be at the end of both of those paragraphs. So why don't you look in those places and see if you can find one.
The shadows, shades of gray. The shadows of trees, the clouds in the sky.
Shades of gray. The shadows of trees, the clouds in the sky, the wings of a wren as she flutters on God, the face of the moon as she watches the night, not quite black, but not quite white, the hue of the world as the shadows of the
Animals help the soil just by living in it. Is that basically what those 2 paragraphs are saying? The first paragraph is talking about having no soil. And the second one is talking about how they put nutrients back into the soil. But they're both talking about how animals help the soil just by living in it. And sometimes you will find a main idea sentence on the page. It's basically wrapping up what those 2 things that page is about. Okay. If you are still copying down a sentence, you can go ahead and use your pencil.
On by the face of the moon.
Those 2 sentences, I'm going to hold Nicole's, but all of you kind of basically have the same thing. Basically have a summary of these 2 pages, right? Some animals live in the dirt. Animals help the soil just by living in it. Now, over here, you have,
Not quite black,
Bonnie, over here, you have a whole section that we had already, right? That's called a sidebar. Down the word over here. Looks like this. Sidebar.
What?
It's a compound word. On the side, it's kind of like a bar, right? It's a sidebar. Sometimes, have you ever seen something that looks like this before? Where you have like something kind of over on the side? Yeah. Sometimes in a newspaper or an article in a magazine or in a nonfiction book like this. They do this because the This is all related to this information over here.
Just have to get
Right, Isaiah? This is all related to this information over here, but it doesn't go exactly with it. They couldn't write a paragraph about it, but it kind of goes along with it. But so they wrote a whole section for you over here about earthworms, and I want you to read that now and learn some new information. You can go ahead and stop.
Why me?